Kettle corn, sugar, and diesel hung over the midway as the Ferris wheel counted down its last slow turns, bulbs throwing confetti light across dust and straw. In the grassy parking field off Highway 34, a '95 Ford pickup sat where it had been left at dusk, wallet with $43 and a driver's license lying on the dashboard untouched. September 19, 1998, Holdrege, Nebraska, Phelps County Fairgrounds. Until DNA finally broke the silence and gave investigators a name to chase. Block 1. Route and initial scene. Route and clock. At 9:43 p.m., 17-year-old Brandon Cole Merritt squeezes his girlfriend's hand by the Ferris wheel and says, "I'll be right back. Need to check practice with coach." The midway is thinning. Generators hum, livestock bedding carries a warm barn smell, barkers half call to no one. The closing announcement at 10:15 p.m. thanks visitors and urges safe drives home. By 10:30, the rides are idling down and crews start sweeping prize tickets into little paper constellations. 11 o'clock, family arrives after the girlfriend's call. By midnight, a command post is set inside a farmhouse kitchen off the fair lane. 2 sights, 1 short night. The fairground sits behind the Phelps County Fairgrounds fence line. Packed dirt lanes, gravel spurs to a grass lot, trailers and game booths thrown up along a 15-acre crop edge. Beyond the tree line, US 34 runs dark and straight under a high prairie sky. Before dawn, K9 will trace a scent trail from the Ferris wheel toward the highway and lose it at the asphalt's edge. An early hint that whatever happened shifted from dirt to road in minutes, not hours. Found, not found. Scene density. Found. Physical. Brandon's 1995 Ford pickup parked where friends say he left it before sunset. Undisturbed. Found. Context. Wallet with $43 and driver's license lying on the dash. His habit. Posters for Sunday events still taped to a livestock barn door. PA close at 10:15 noted by multiple witnesses. Not found. Signs of a fight near the midway. A "we left together" witness. A quick theft pattern. No smashed glass, no rummaged cab. Any confirmed sighting of coach, and the practice schedule was already posted in the locker room that week. Witness pulse. The Ferris wheel operator remembers the girlfriend circling back around 10:20 p.m., asking if he'd seen the tall kid in a leather jacket. A best friend is last to load a Holstein at the barn around 10:30 p.m., and hasn't seen Brandon since earlier ring toss games. And a hot dog trailer vendor says he spotted a bomber-style jacket near the game row sometime after 10:20, but he isn't sure on minutes. His next receipt is stamped 10:27 p.m., and the house lights were already dimming. The first twist, ordinary versus facts. On its face, this looks like a teenager who wandered, met up, or cooled off after a crowded night. But truck untouched, cash and ID left in plain sight, and no coach rendezvous to keep collapse the quick errand story. If he were bailing on the night or cruising with a friend, the cab would be missing wallet ID, or the coach story would land true. Instead, the scene reads like a near midway intercept followed by a short transfer corridor out to the road's edge. Surface, illumination, environment. Midway, dust over hardpack, thrown light from strings and ride bulbs, visibility decent inside the rings, patchy behind trailers. Parking, grass and stubble over firm soil, quiet underfoot compared to gravel. Highway 34, asphalt with a faint shoulder rumble and no ambient light once you step beyond the fair's glow. Sound carries oddly, generator drone masking soft footsteps behind the livestock barn, then enlarging voices at the emptying lanes. Immediate response. Deputies lock the lot, log plates, and move ride crews out of the search corridor. Volunteers grid the game row, barn edge, parking field in about 20 to 30-minute pushes. A K9 team from Lincoln arrives after sunrise, takes scent from Brandon's jacket at home, and lays down the first line of the night's path toward the highway. Roadblocks on US 34 start catching the early church and farm traffic. Working window, minutes, not hours. From 9:43 p.m., "I'll be right back," to 10:15 p.m., PA close is about 32 minutes of opportunity inside a crowded but shrinking space. The 10:30 empty midway mark tightens it further. K9 losing trail at the asphalt edge fixes an endpoint that matches that clock. Dirt to road in under half an hour. Ferris bulbs winking out one by one while a dashboard license stares up at nobody. Clipboards, cones, and grid tape stitch through a fairground going dark. At a kitchen table, a mother keeps a phone beside a yearbook photo and measures the night in minutes, not miles. Block 2. Assumptions versus evidence. Cool off Wonger, back in a minute. What we would expect. Loops past games. A sighting near livestock pens. Friends bumping into him on the way back. If he cooled off longer, a call, or a ride home. What we have, no confirmed passbacks after 9:43 p.m., the pickup untouched, and a scent line that leaves the grounds toward US 34. Wandering explains delay, not a dirt-to-road transfer. Meet the coach check practice. What we would expect? A meet spot, a witness, a change time, or the coach confirming contact. What we have? The coach denies any meetup and says the practice schedule was posted. No witness ties Brandon to a coach corridor. The errand that excused his step away evaporates. Ride with a friend, consensual pickup. What we would expect. Someone sees the approach, a wave at the lane, the wallet off the dash, the cab locked. What we have? Wallet with $43 and license still on the dashboard, cab undisturbed, and no "we left together" witness. Consensual rides don't usually leave cash and ID on display. Robbery car prowl escalating. What we would expect: smashed glass, pried column, drawers of glove box debris, missing cash/ID. What we have? No break-in, no rummage, cash and ID untouched in plain sight. A thief who ignores free money is not the motive driver. On-grounds altercation. What we would expect: scuffle marks behind trailers, spilled drinks, dropped ticket books, someone hearing a shout. What we have? No fight signature logged on the game row or barn edge. The field surface is grass over firm soil. Quiet, but it still records a mess if a body hits it. Nothing. Animal environmental mishap. What we would expect: torn fabric, blood, a trail into the corn or drainage, security or volunteers finding a downed teen in the first sweep. What we have: clean scene and a scent trail to asphalt, not into fields or water. Runaway, staged exit. What we would expect: prepped bag, cash gone, ID pocketed, a friend primed, the truck repositioned or abandoned off-site. What we have: truck still where he parked it, wallet ID left, no message, no bag. Staging doesn't leave the one thing you'd take, your license, staring at the dash. Vendor sighting. False lead pressure test. Claim: a hot dog vendor thinks he saw a bomber jacket near Game Row after 10:20 p.m. His next receipt is 10:27 and lights were dimming. Wait. Useful as a window, weak as an ID. It doesn't restore the coach story or the consensual ride logic. It does keep our corridor anchored near game's barn edge in the 10:15 to 10:27 span. Third-party intercept with short transfer to highway. Best fit. What we would expect: contact on foot inside the midway barn blind arc. Quiet egress through grass, not gravel. Then a vehicle rendezvous at the road where K9 loses scent. Property left to delay alarm. The truck untouched to mute motive. What we have: wallet ID still on dash. No truck disturbance. No fight field. Sent to US 34. And a crowd thinning just enough for minutes-long movements to hide in generator drone. Present-absent logic aligns here, and not elsewhere. Era scene limits. 1998 County Fair. Sparse or no CCTV on rows. Cash registers stamp times, but staff aren't clock synced. Generator glare crushes camera detail. The grassy lot is quiet underfoot, masking soft approaches. These limits widen uncertainty but do not explain cash plus ID left, truck pristine, and scent breaking at asphalt. Provisional read. Present absent. Cool off wander. Not supported. No passbacks. Road transfer. Coach meetup. Not supported. Coach denies. Schedule fixed. Friend ride. Weak. No witness. Valuables left. Robbery car prowl. Not supported. No entry. Cash ID visible. Altercation animal. Not supported. No scuffle tear field. Third-party intercept, road rendezvous. Best fit to scene and clock. Working window. Minutes, not hours. 9:43 p.m. step away. 10:15 p.m. close. 10:27 vendor receipt. About 30 to 40 minutes of opportunity inside a shrinking footprint. K9 losing at US 34 suggests transfer by 10:25 to 10:30. Dirt to road inside half an hour. Prize tickets tumbling past a boot heel while a dashboard license looks up at empty bulbs. Matrices rule out what isn't there. At a kitchen table, a mother folds a fare map until the crease runs exactly through the Ferris wheel and the highway. Block 3. Witnesses and contradictions. Midway closeout. What eyes and ears actually caught. The Ferris wheel operator clocks the girlfriend around 10:20 p.m., anxious and looping back. A barn hand hauling a Holstein says the row behind the livestock barn was already thinning near 10:30 p.m., mostly crew and drivers. The hot dog trailer vendor remembers a bomber-style jacket drifting past after 10:20, but he can only anchor the moment to his next stamped receipt at 10:27 p.m. as the house lights began to dim. Grassy lot margins and trailers. Quiet lanes. Behind the concessions line, the Fairfield turns from gravel spur to grass stubble, nearly silent underfoot compared with the game row. Volunteers walking a tight grid at first light note a single leather work glove lying just beyond a concessions trailer on the grass edge where the field funnels toward US 34. Dew beads the knuckles. Straw lint clings to the cuff. There's a faint diesel note in the leather. No second glove turns up. The placement sits outside the churn of foot traffic, more like a drop along an egress path than a casual loss in the crowd. Perimeter and highway edge. What moves, what doesn't. Deputies set spot cones along the cart track that feeds the service lane. A K9 takes scent from Brandon's jacket at home and pulls Ferris, game row, barn edge, grassy funnel, then brakes at the asphalt lip of US 34. The pickup remains undisturbed where he left it. The wallet with $43 and license still stares from the dash. That combination pushes us off robbery and off consensual ride. Most teens don't leave cash plus ID in plain sight to take a lift. Sound and light. Why a move can hide in plain sight. Generators drone. Trailers throw blind arcs behind them. The livestock barn has a pocket where sound falls off for a few seconds. In that pocket, soft-soled steps on grass don't announce themselves like gravel would. The vendor's fuzzy timestamp, 10:27 receipt, lights dimming, sets a plausible last pulse near the games without giving us certainty of identity. It does, however, hold our corridor within minutes of the fair's close. Contradictions that matter. If Brandon were cooling off, we should get multiple passbacks or a ride-home call. We don't. If he truly left to meet the coach would confirm it. He doesn't, and practice was already posted. If a friend's car scooped him, someone would wave and the wallet wouldn't be on the dash. If a prowler targeted the truck, glass breaks and cash vanishes. Neither happens. What we do get, a single glove on the quiet path out. A context receipt stamped 1027. K9 braking at asphalt. And a truck that says motive not equal theft. Timeline adjustment, minutes not hours. About 9:43 p.m. He says, "I'll be right back." By about 10:15 p.m., the PA system announces closing, and the midway begins to drain. Around 10:20 to 10:27 p.m., a vendor recalls seeing a bomber jacket near the game row. His next receipt is stamped 10:27, just as the lights were dimming. Around 10:25 to 10:30 p.m., the likely funnel moves through grass behind the trailers toward the highway edge. Later, the K9 loses scent at US 34. Compression holds. The actionable corridor is about 25 to 35 minutes. Dirt to asphalt. Inside a space that grows quieter with each passing minute. Working window. Minutes, not hours. From 9:43 step away to 10:15 close to 10:27 receipt gives roughly 30 to 40 minutes for approach, contact, and transfer. Scenarios that require a long on-scene setup or a loud vehicle pause in gravel do not fit. A short on-foot intercept with a roadside rendezvous does. A brown leather glove cupped in grass, dew bright on the knuckles, facing the highway like it knows which way the night went. Ticket strings and grid tape comb a field that looks the same in every direction. At home, a mother leaves the porch light on for a boy whose license sits staring from a dashboard he never returned to. Block 4. Technicals and Breakthrough. Reopen Kit. Clean Protocol. Items are unsealed one by one under a hood. The leather work glove, inner cuff loop, finger seams, palm lining, the hot dog trailer receipt, documented only, thermal paper, handled minimally, and reference swabs from the glove's exterior where dew dried. Fresh gloves per item. Forceps swapped between lifts. Bench and tool pre-post swabs logged. Reagent blanks ride every batch. Eliminations first. Girlfriend, best friend, Ferris operator, hot dog vendor and helper, barn crew chief, and deputies who taped the grassy funnel overnight. Low template recovery, the stalls. qPCR returns sub-nanogram yields. Mini STR from the glove's inner cuff produces fragmentary, mixed alleles, insufficient for a database hit and not probative alone. Latents on the receipt are smeared by dew handling. Controls read clean. The classic 1998 playbook runs out of power, not care. Microtrace, the non-DNA turn. Tape lifts from the glove's palm and cuff collect a small constellation of particles. Diesel range hydrocarbons, C10 to C20, by GCMS, and a thin film of molybdenum disulfide type grease, consistent with trailer hitch maintenance rather than midway concessions. Straw lint and sisal polytwine microfibers, bale twine signature, under PLM, typical of livestock loading zones. Pollen mix skewed to ragweed and field grasses, matching the grassy funnel to US 34 more than the gravel spur. Class traits aren't identities, but together they steer away from a teen patron and toward someone who handles trailers and stock at close range. Low input SMP library, the breakthrough. The lab composites the two strongest touch extracts, inner cuff loop plus palm seam, and builds a low input SNP library. Fragment length centers around 120 to 150 base pairs. Post-QC call rate lands around 92 to 94%. Mixture assessment supports a single source male distinct from all eliminations. Bench blanks and reagent controls remain negative. STR failed for power. SNP succeeds for signal. A foreign touch DNA profile now ties to the inside of the glove, not just its weathered exterior. FGG guardrails, lead, not proof. Uploads are limited to opt-in law enforcement portals. GEDmatch Pro FTDNALE. An audit packet travels with the data. Case type, consent basis, file hashes, timestamps, named access roles. No non-consenting sites. Every view export is logged. Output is treated strictly as an investigative lead, never as probable cause. Tree build and geography/time filter. Cousin matches in the 2C to 3C band converge on a plains lineage with 1990s ties across south-central Nebraska and neighboring counties. Public obits and vital records scaffold the MRCA. Age-sex gates narrow to males mid-20s to mid-40s in 1998. A minutes-based geography filter trims further. Routine presence at Phelps County Fairgrounds after 10 p.m. on Saturday. Teardown, livestock haul-out, concession pickup. Legal access to the grassy service lane, and a plausible route to US 34 in about 3 to 7 minutes from the barn edge before approximately 10:30 p.m. Short list, less than or equal to 3. After pruning out-of-region and wrong-age branches, the pedigree plus logistics produce a short list of 2 to 3 men whose roles naturally bridge midway, grassy funnel, highway, inside the minute window, e.g., a livestock hauler staged for a late loadout, a carnival supply driver collecting game stock, or a portable generator fuel runner closing accounts. Each entry is tabled with MRCA link, 1998 employer route, why the 1015 to 1030 span fits, and what records can test it. Logbooks, fuel chits, scale, yard slips, cash drawer reconciles. Cross-checks against innocent transfer. The foreign SNP profile repeats across independent glove lifts, cuff loop, and palm seam. All eliminations are negative. Chain of custody shows continuous seals from field to lab. The glove was never placed on the public display table. Microtrace, diesel plus MOS2 grease plus bale twine fibers, fits trailers, stock handling, not a patron's jacket pocket. The receipt's 1027 stamp fixes crowd tempo, but doesn't explain the glove's placement outside main foot traffic on the path to US 34. Casual classroom store transfer doesn't live at that edge. Deliverable and confirmation plan. Pedigree tree with MRCA path and match notes. Shortlist, less than or equal to 3, with time distance rationale tied to 9:43 to 10:30 p.m. and job logs. Audit packet, hashes, consent, access log. Confirmation plan, quiet surveillance, lawful discard collection, and STR comparison to the glove's foreign profile. If probative, obtain a court-authorized confirmatory buckle. Working window application. Prioritize candidates whose Saturday routes put them on the grass lane within about 5 to 10 minutes of the 10:15 close and moving toward US 34 by 10:25 to 10:30 without crossing the noisy gravel spur. Anyone who cannot clear those minute-scale waypoints falls off the list. Grease sheen in the crease of a worn glove. Straw lint caught where a hand tightens a hitch. A digital tree grows boxes and arrows. At a kitchen table, a mother smooths a 1027 receipt flat and wonders how a clock can be so precise while the night remains so vague. Block 5. Resolution and arrest. Lead classic workflow. Forensic genealogy remains a lead, not proof. Investigators shift to confirmation. Quiet surveillance on the shortlist from Block 4. Men with transport logistics roles who could bridge midway. Grassy funnel. US 34 inside, 9:43 to 10:30 p.m. A lawful discard is collected when the subject finishes coffee on an early run. An empty paper cup dropped in an outdoor bin. The lab builds a STR profile from that discard and compares it to the foreign touch DNA recovered independently from the glove's inner cuff loop and palm seam. The comparison supports common source. With counsel review, a court-authorized confirmatory buckle swab follows. The second test reproduces the profile without mixture flags. Match statistics, plain language. The confirmatory STR comparison reports RMP less than 1 times 10 to the power of 12 and LR greater than 10 to the power of 9 in favor of the same individual as the foreign contributor. Blanks and bench controls are clean. All eliminations, girlfriend, best friend, Ferris operator, hot dog vendor assistant, barn crew chief, taping, deputies remain non-matching. Chain of custody on the glove package is continuous. Corroboration. Access, opportunity, route logic. Work records place the subject handling trailers and livestock on Saturday night with routine access to the service lane that feeds the grassy funnel. His route logs and fuel notes make US 34 the natural egress within about 3 to 7 minutes of the barn edge, squarely inside the 10:15 to 10:30 p.m. transfer window. Microtrace from the glove, diesel range hydrocarbons, molybdenum disulfide grease, bale twine fibers, ragweed fieldgrass pollen, fits his work environment. Scene logic holds. Wallet with $43 plus license left on the dash argues not theft. Truck pristine argues not joyride. K9 braking at asphalt argues road rendezvous. The 1027 hot dog receipt keeps our corridor near game row as the lights dim, minutes before a quiet walk through grass can disappear into highway noise. The twist, familiar, not foreign. He wasn't a shadowy stranger, he was the stock hauler with the clipboard. The man families waved past all week at loadout. Ordinary clothes, ordinary tasking. The fair taught everyone to stop seeing him. Only the minute-scale windows, the quiet egress path, and the modern profile stitch him to the route from bulbs to blacktop. Arrest. Time, place, coherence. At 6:21 a.m., officers contact the subject in a motel parking lot just off US 34 as he steps from his cab toward the office. The timing avoids a residential scene, matches his overnight run, and cleanly supports the warrant plan. Vehicle and outer garments in plain view. Interior search under separate authority. He looks at the uniforms, one small beat, and for the first time he isn't the hauler with the clipboard. He reads like a stranger. The arrest is conducted without incident. Charging framework. 3 pillars. Identification. STR match from lawful discard, replicated by court-authorized buckle with conservative reporting. Access opportunity. Documented presence and truck access inside the 10:15 to 10:30 p.m. window along the grassy funnel, US 34 route. Corroboration. Scene logic. Truck untouched. Wallet ID on dash. Microtrace consistent with trailer's stock handling on the glove's inner surfaces. Negative eliminations, and continuous custody. FGG is cited only as an investigative lead with full audit logs. Proof comes from the discard arrow, STR arrow buckle sequence. Technical closeout. What was tested? Why sufficient? Tested. Glove inner cuff loop and palm seam. Primary touch DNA. Plus discard cup and confirmatory buckle. Receipt documented only. qPCR guided low input handling. STR confirmation met reporting thresholds. Mixture assessment indicated a single source male. Controls were negative. Sufficiency rests on independent replication, the minute scale time distance fit, and non-overlapping controls that close off innocent transfer or bench carryover. A worn glove bagged and sealed. A match that finally points down a straight ribbon of highway. Warrants, seals, signatures. A kitchen light burns over a folded fare map where the crease still runs through the Ferris wheel and the road.